Meeting to order. This is the regular monthly meeting of the Morton County Park Board for August 2025. First thing we will look at is the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or changes to the agenda for today's meeting?
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda for today's meeting. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, minutes of previous meetings. Does anybody have any corrections to be made for the minutes
That should be July 22nd instead of June 22nd.
of the July meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the July meeting. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, monthly bills and payroll. I was up and I took a look at the bills for the month. I had no questions on them, so I would move to approve the monthly bills and payroll.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve monthly bills and payroll. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, first item on our regular agenda is the application for annual events and one-time events. Cody?
Mr. Chairman and the board, I've been working with Wendy to create this application for annual events, you know, such as the bike race up at Harmon, and also I've been approached about a wedding up at Harmon that they want to do next year. So trying to create an application that these groups can fill out, and then I can present the application each time to the board, and then that application would get them on the calendar, the schedule, before it opened up to the public. And I wasn't able to get to Wendy today to see her progress on the application, so I guess we could table that one till next time. I'd just like to have you guys take a look at it and approve the application, and then these groups can fill that out, and they can go forward and know that they have their annual events scheduled or on the calendar for each year and approved by the board. And then nobody can say that anybody's getting preferential treatment for being on the calendar before the general public is able to, because it's an approved application. I guess that's what I've got on that.
Okay, any questions for Cody or comments on that application? We'll just hang tight until you've got a copy to show us.
Yeah, and I can email that out to when that's all done.
Okay, next item on the agenda, website updates.
Another commissioner emailed several website updates, and the two that I guess I could have the board look at. Picnic shelter rentals. I guess that's a whole nother line, but
Yeah, so any questions on website updates or?
Actually, I'll throw some more comment on that. Working with Heidi Hamilton in the back of the room, our public information officer, we are completely revamping Morton County's website. So what you're currently seeing on the website, don't use that as a locked door, as that's how it's gonna be, that's how it's gotta be. Think a completely different approach, and with that is what information is being sought after on our website. So if it's being sought after on our website, let's make it readily available to the people, but also looking at these application forms, look at other recreational portals, what are they showing on their websites, and is that relevant for our website, specifically for Morton County Parks? The other considerations that could be looked at is it's very commonplace now for campsites particularly that has images of each individual campsite numbered with relative information, so however wide it is, however deep it is, so people, I run a big rig, making sure that people have the knowledge if they can fit in XYZ site or not, and that can be relevant to Harmon, to Fort Rice, Sweetbriar, the others, obviously they're at random and they're very primitive at best, but having that consideration with the website as well. Again, looking at, the intention is to make our website that much more informative, that makes our user want to use it more. That's what we're driving for.
So in this case where we've had some changes that were brought up to the existing one, would you recommend kind of filing those or getting those to you guys? And the question is, does it even pay to update what's currently out there if you guys are revamping the entire thing?
No, that I got that same email. It
Okay.
was shared with me as well.
Okay.
But basically using that as information
Right,
to seed the brain.
yeah,
But I would ask the entire board and all of our stakeholders to provide feedback. What is it that they that they like to see for our recreational services? Because, granted, I'm a little biased on this comment, but I think Morton County's recreational services, our park system, tenfold over any other county park system in the state. I'm a little biased.
and like you say, Ray, a website that supports that with a lot of pictures, people liked that. I've started taking pictures of the parks, going out with a good camera, and that's another idea you brought up that I hadn't thought of, taking a picture of each individual campsite too. A lot of the pictures I've taken are of the shelters, so they know what they're getting if they haven't been there before for a shelter, if they want to reserve that.
Right, and having the reservation information there, or have, obviously we have group sites we do reservations with, so having that as part of that electronic format as well.
Yeah, and then I had the idea of a meeting with Mike, our GIS guy, creating a GIS map highlighting where the amenities in the parks are. Here's where the playground is, here's where restrooms are, here's where like the campsites, and I think he can do a good job with creating that map and possibly even clickable links to pictures within the map, hopefully.
Good.
And probably even eventually at some point get that map that they come up with the site numbers and everything else made into signage and put it down at the campground too.
Right.
Yes.
Because I know Grainer Park, for instance, is completely lacking in signage as far
Right.
as information.
And that's on my agenda to get with our roads department sign guy and get some better signage made for down at Grainer. Even if you had an emergency down there where an ambulance was needed, you could send them to this street within Grainer instead of just a general area where they're at.
Another consideration is, I know the site is out there, but through Game and Fish, obviously they have links for every single body of water that has their depths, that has what it's stocked with. So again, we can share that information on our
Another link.
respective. Yep, we have the videos that were done by the previous public information officer. I don't know how many years those are, if they're still decent as far as content and whatnot, but again, incorporating that into this revised website. So I guess bottom line is just looking at not restricting ourselves with what we have, but look at what it needs to become, what our constituents are expecting of information, and we look at it a completely different set of eyes.
Yeah, what I found right away with the website was there was a button for reservations, and that's all it said, reservations. So I was getting a lot of calls. How do I reserve this campsite? So I came down here to Heidi and I said, we need to change that title to say, shelter reservations. Just little stuff like that saved me a lot of phone calls ever since.
Okay, any other questions or comments regarding the website before we move on? Okay, next item on the agenda is reservations of picnic shelters and adjacent camping spots.
Yeah, I just through some more research, the way it is, as far as adjacent camping sites, I was down to Grainer this morning, and there's only one shelter that actually has adjacent camping sites. So most people reserve the 1, 2, or 3 of those adjacent camping sites, but the other 2 shelters, it's primitive camping, and they're not numbered spots. So Glenn told me in the past he had put up caution tape around the one on the east end, and people got upset that he didn't have enough caution tape for their 15 campers, and so that ruined that for everybody. And I don't know if we want to go back to something like that, or I guess the thought was that all the camps or all the shelters had adjacent camping sites, but they just really don't. So the way it is almost has to stay as it is. And then there's questions about reserving the picnic shelters at Fish Creek, Crown Butte, Ballard, and Soul. Haven't heard demand for reservations for those, but I guess what's the opinion of the board for putting out the availability of reservations?
Have you gotten complaints from people that tried to get in there and they couldn't because it was taken? And
No, we haven't. I wonder if with our revamping of our website that there might become some demand for those shelters, but currently there hasn't been.
I could probably see Ansel's.
It's brand new.
It's brand new. I could see where that,
at least make the option of reserving something available.
especially at Ansel's.
If it's open and nobody has it reserved and people want to still use it, obviously that's going to
Right.
happen. So
'Cause they could-
make the option available.
I could see where that could be a problem.
I would definitely suggest that if we're allowing any one shelter to be reservable,
All.
that they should be all reservable. But also having some sort of a placard or a consistent location that says reserved, whatever the party is, from this date, this time, whatever. So that's clearly noted for any other spontaneous user. But if we're allowing any one to be reserved, they should all be reservable.
Reservable.
And again, clarifying which site it is that's getting reserved. But the other comment for that, though, goes back to campsites nearby, as far as being reservable. That's kind of a double-edged approach, because, this body's maintained the policy that we don't want to have reserved campsites, or then, of course, the group sites. But I actually got confronted during a county fair by a camping person that goes out camping a lot, that ran into this exact same situation. They rented one of the sites, one of the shelters, and expected to have the adjacent sites being reservable. I said, we don't do that.
Right.
So I would lean that we still don't do that. It's up to them
Yep.
to maintain their own due diligence. But that has to be communicated too.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, I think the way we have it now, it's been working pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah,
not
it
broke.
works.
It's working.
Because I think in the instance where you're talking about, that's all primitive camping, and so the spots aren't marked as individual camping spots, so it'd be really difficult to, you'd have to create signage for each individual camping spot out there, and we just basically manage that campground.
Just a comment, Cody, shelter number 2 down at Granger, the one that's by the storm shelter. Right now, it's just a picnic use area. There are no camping sites around it.
There's
That shelter gets used very little.
very little, yep. I
If-
talked a lot to
if
Glenn
they're
about
ever-
that today, that they are able to camp on the gravel pad by it, but he said it's maybe been camped at twice ever in 15 years.
If there were some, and I know that'd be a major expense, a couple of electrical campsites put around that shelter, it would get used more, or even allow primitive camping around the shelter more.
Right.
I think it would get used more, but right now, it doesn't get used hardly at all.
The electrical probably wouldn't be that bad, because we got the main power right there.
It's right there, yeah.
I mean, it's right there. I mean,
And just have to
run
get
2
some
boxes on each side, you know.
Boxes
double
and some pads, you know,
And
somewhere to
Glenn
park.
did make the comment that that grassy area, it'd be to the south,
Yeah.
is a green space, and the core doesn't allow any camping traffic on it.
They don't want to bother the mosquitoes.
Yeah. Because that would be ideal to put several
Yeah.
camping spots in there.
Well, maybe that's something down the road to approach the core about and just maybe bring it up again.
Yep.
Because if there was electrical there, that would definitely get used.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
But again, going back to your previous comment too, as far as, website discussion, GIS asset marking is, again, for these shelters, identifying which ones have electricity, which one don't, or number out, whatever the case may be. But that information also have to be noted on the registration form if they need electricity or not,
Sure, yep.
But maybe it's one form that can be all encompassing, they just identify which location that they want to use. But again, I think it's something that we should be doing
That's
for
a very
for
good point.
proper accounting reasons in itself.
So to summarize then, the board consensus is essentially regarding shelter reservations, the system we have now appears to be working good, so we're gonna just keep going with that. With the campsites next to the shelters. And then with the shelter reservations, we're going to go ahead and make them all reservable.
If you want that in the form of a motion or not, but consensus is fine.
I think consensus, as long as we. Does that clarify things for you on
Yep.
what we should?
Consensus is to make them all reservable.
Shelters reservable, and then leave the adjacent campsite reservation policy, just
As
leave
it
it
is.
how it's currently working. Okay, any other questions on that or comments for Cody?
Let me know
Okay.
if you need any assistance with that, making the forms.
What's that?
Let me know if you need assistance making the forms.
Absolutely. I had a very crude one that I made as an example for Wendy, and she took that and ran. She's gonna make it pretty and word it.
Okay, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is park updates.
What I've got is a review of the Valerie Ensel Memorial Park project. We brought in 2 loads of wood chips and had them dump a load and a half at Ensel Park there, and then took the other half of one load up to Harmon and piled them there, so we'll be able to use those wherever we need, haul them around if we need. Donnie Ensel and I installed the culvert there, got the sidewalk poured. He and I did the dirt work there, and I went and seeded the grass. And Don is a heck of a guy. I'm not sure how old he is, but he told me he's got COPD, and he worked alongside of me with a shovel and a rake all day long in the heat and didn't complain. So big thanks for all of Don's effort in that. There was a park dedication on Sunday, 2 days ago, and heck of a turnout. It was really, really nice. A question for you guys. Within that grant, it mentions the grant would pay for 80% of park benches, but there's 2 more benches coming with the playground equipment that are on their way. Would it be better, in your opinion, to do a couple more picnic tables up there? Because I believe the grant would pay for those 2 instead of benches.
How many picnic tables are currently in the shelter?
There's 3 there right now.
So these additional picnic tables would just be like
Just
next
outside,
to the... Okay.
yeah.
I would think the picnic tables would be plus than the benches.
More so than the benches.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have gatherings, people want to sit around a table, so.
Well, the benches themselves, aren't those gonna be planted near the playground itself?
The ones that are coming.
Yeah,
The ones, yep, they're to
yeah,
put
so,
outside the playground area.
yeah, so that serves its own purpose
Mhm.
right there. I would agree as far as the picnic tables are concerned, but my question is how much weatherization and the obvious vandalism.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to have to monitor. But the weatherization is gonna be if I did staking them down or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
We run into that in all the campgrounds, so we have picnic tables at Rainers and Harmon Lake, and we're
Mhm.
just setting around out in the weather. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's just part of it.
Yeah.
There's
As
those
far
other-
as cost, I looked up picnic tables. We just buy the frames and then plank them ourselves from local lumber. The frames have gone up. They're about $400 a set, but the benches I think are about $1,200. So quite a cost difference, but then the, like I said, the grant pays for 80% of whatever we do decide, either way.
I think looking at common sense, what the park is used for is people gathering to have a little picnic or something too. I think that the picnic tables would be more practical and make more sense.
Sure.
I would agree. And the picnic table maintenance, that's something that you would address over the wintertime anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got a lot of them to address this winter.
So consensus of the board on that item is picnic tables?
How much money is available?
More than we will spend
Okay.
in the grant. Tim included a trail counter into that grant, and he made the comment that that was to just kind of spice up the grant. so it would go through. And that was at a time you could buy one trail counter at around $1,000. Now you have to buy a package deal that comes with 3 trail counters, and it's about triple the price originally. And I'm just wondering if you guys think that the data we would get from a trail counter would be worth and I believe after a year or two, you just have to start paying a subscription fee too.
Do you remember what company that was?
Not right offhand, I'd have to look.
I can send you a link. I've got one at Harmon from a company called Trailmaster. And
That might be,
and so the one we have out there is older. I mean, we could buy one and there was no subscription required. The only thing I would have to do is go actually pull a card out of the box to download actually no, that one didn't even, it had basically a screen on it like the clock that just displayed the data. But, you know, we used it because most of these grants, you know, like some sort of usage numbers. But, you know, if it's now $3,000, I mean, I know we didn't, I think we bought one for maybe 700. So I double check on that, but I guess at this point, I would see that as being cost prohibitive for the minimal gain we would get from it.
yeah.
And they're by no means infallible because it's an infrared beam, so, you know, sunlight can blind them and lead to weird counts, you know, moving branches. You know, it's
That's what I was
fairly
just
big
kinda
margin of
wondering
error.
The usefulness of the data.
Yeah, for me it was good, but I was writing grants to build more trails, so I was, you know, going with more usage on that, so I don't know, I guess my opinion would be probably not worth
That's why it was placed right next to that little tree, wasn't it?
The counter.
every time it waved back and forth, you got another.
Count another one going by. Well, it looks good for your.
It
for
looked
my
good on the
next
grant, yeah. Okay, board consensus on that, probably don't need a trail counter out there?
Not at that cost.
And assess the costs on it, but agree that there's gonna be future want for information. I know one of the comments that comes from the public as well, the bigger argument on the trail system itself, a lot from those that don't use it at all, questioning the justification for it. So again, having numbers to be able to show people, but
That this
again,
is getting used.
yeah, but, you know, gotta look at the costs on that.
Yeah, why don't you, I would say for now, hold off, but double check on what vendor you were looking at and let me know. If not, I'll see if I can find a link to the one that we bought, if it's even an option anymore.
Sure. Yeah, if we could find a single counter to put up that probably Valeriansel Park or something.
That doesn't require subscriptions
Yeah.
and,
But even still, I would, if we're looking at doing counters, I would definitely look at multiple parts along that stretch. Because you got people that would enter in at certain periods of it or only walk so far, whatever the case is. So when we get to that point, that's definitely something to look at.
I think that's maybe why they do a package deal like that, where you're getting references from different points along the path.
Yeah. And prime example for that, I'll pick on the Christmas in the park display is we use counters at certain locations within Dykeshorn Park for the Christmas displays. We have and we still go out with manually counting bodies as well, so we have a snapshot every given day of what traffic is.
I guess another idea, did you need a consensus or?
I would agree.
yeah, I think the consensus is for now, hold off on the trail counter.
Table that, okay. An idea I brought up for Valeriansel is to repair the ice skating rink and maybe price out some kind of liner that we could take out in the spring.
Is that, I mean, do the ones that city parks put up, do they use liners in their?
I have no,
I don't think, I mean, I see that one down Legion Park, I go by there every day, there's no liner.
No,
in
they put
that.
up the wall and they fill it with water.
Yeah.
Conversation with Cole.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe if we just relined it with, yellow clay even. Chad Schneider and I went 10 years ago to fill that, and we kept bringing back, I think we took 6 loads up there, and each time we got back, the water that we had previously dumped in it was gone, so we'll have to,
Wasn't cold enough.
That's right.
let's see, a mole or a gopher hole that it went down.
You can't do it in August.
But I'll look more into that and see if we can seal that up and then fill that this coming winter. I just wanted to ask you guys on hats. Tim told me to just order a box with the logo on, and when I'm pricing them out, they're about $20 a hat. I don't know if you guys want to set a budget on that or a certain number of hats I should order.
Isn't that in the budget as far as those types of expendables?
That I'd have to ask Dawn.
I didn't know he ever.
Be a-
I don't know
It'd be
where
a
he
prob-
would've- What line item it
Yeah.
would come from, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a line item for hats, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's just coming out
Yeah,
of
it's
the line.
promotional, but
Right.
He's probably taken out of maintenance in parks or something.
get grant money left over.
You need at least 6 hats here or 7 here.
As far as the board concerns, I think that's kind of a pretty down in the weeds operational thing that we probably have no opinion on.
Sure.
Right.
Where's Parks at?
These are just questions I have.
We can look if you want, do you know where he ordered them from before?
What is it called?
I know once a while ago he got them from iGear, but I don't know if he's gotten one since then.
No, it wasn't that.
There's so many places around
Yeah.
nowadays that.
There's,
Yeah.
I do everything through Rough Rider, or not through, over on Front Street.
There's that place in the bowling alley, they're usually pretty reasonable.
Yeah, is that Cat Northern?
Northern Trophy, yeah, I would
Sure.
check there, because,
That's at least in Morton County. Then you
yeah,
don't get a
I got
complaint
t-shirts
about that.
printed, but it's probably been 5 years ago, but they were by far, and I think that's where 4-H used to get a bunch of theirs too.
And
A lot
our
of schools
swim
do.
team.
Oh, okay.
Just looking at the budget for the parks, there's a line item for publishing and printing.
That's
That's first.
newspaper
Okay.
type stuff
Yep.
and copy machine though.
And there's a couple other smaller elements, but that was one consideration there. Because again, that one historically,
Capital
$1,000 versus 3,000 budgeted and 1,000 in expenses. Not saying that any one year can maximize that 3,000, but basically, if there's room in the budget to do it, if there's a need for it.
We've had some driving rains and had to fix some gravel roads, and I would just thought I would ask your guys' opinion from what's been done in the past for getting gravel. The highway department's given us a couple loads with a dump trailer, but I was just wondering if I rented or borrowed a dump truck from the highway department, if I could see if they would sell the park some gravel out of their pile, or we could get some from Knife River, stockpile someplace, and then Alex could haul it around with the dump trailer.
Question with Knife River would be what pit would they come from and what's that cost gonna be? Especially for dealing with class 5 versus anything else.
Yeah, we just bought gravel for the fair. It was about $1,200 a load delivered out there from down this way someplace, but I'm not sure. But that was road gravel, good road gravel, class 13, something like that. That was about $1,200 a load.
Do we get a box scraper with our equipment? Would that heavy enough that can level out areas?
Yeah, does a good job. I asked Chad about sending in a blade to like Grainer Park to smoothen up them roads, but he thinks the moldboard is just too wide to do a good job on those narrow gravel roads. Just you'd have to turn it so far, and so he thought we could do a better job of just the equipment we have within the parks, a blade on the tractor.
Yeah, I think you haul a load of gravel down.
Yeah,
Your
I hauled
yards.
a dump trailer load down a couple Fridays ago, and doesn't go very far. Not compared to what I'm used to hauling in a semi.
Because you're running a 10-yard load?
Probably 3 or 4.
It was one scoop with the payloader, so about 4 yards
Okay.
is all.
But you got a good isolation as far as what areas need how much maintenance? I mean, you can calculate what your usage is gonna be. And then equipment time and, I mean, I would say, put a plan together and bring it forward. Or if it's within budget means,
Let's do it.
get it done.
Check with Knife River, see what they would cost or where they're gonna bring it out of.
Keep in mind though, I mean, before we spend a lot of money on this, is the road project down at Grainer's gonna ever happen with the crushed asphalt?
That's why we're kind of holding off on fixing up too much down at Grainer, because next spring that pile that's out at the county yard out by the landfill is going to get crushed, and we're supposed to get a share of that for Grainer.
Is the next spring the goal? I mean,
Yep.
is that, okay.
Yeah, that's what John Psyche said. They want to hold out till the strip project is all lifted, and it'll all be there so they can crush it all at one time.
Yeah, I think they got the east is, well, they're actually digging now, so the east side is pretty well extracted. So however, whenever they're gonna hit next year then, going west.
Okay.
I did get a note back from Cole, they do not line their outdoor rinks.
They do not, okay. So we just need to get that packed tight enough to hold water till it freezes.
Yeah, get the ground to freeze up first and
Look
dump a
for,
little bit on there, make it wet, and then
look for gopher holes.
Yeah.
wherever it's swirling.
Another idea I had was some volleyball courts in parks for a future project, possibly. If you guys would be for it, I could get some pricing on what that would cost. I don't think it'd be that crazy, just leveling up ground and bringing in some loads of sand, and we'd have to get, like if we did one at Grainer, clearances from the Corps, then a spot to do it. But I guess in my observation from where we've camped in the past, there's been volleyball courts and they're pretty well used.
There was one down at Grainer's at one time.
There was.
Right to the south of the shelter number 1, in that little
Okay.
triangle there between the trees.
Sure. And at Grainer, it'd probably be just to shave off the the topsoil, because the sand's already there.
I think it'd be worth following up on, because it's like you said, it'll get used.
Mhm. Yeah, I've seen, I guess firsthand at Grainer that people will bring their own kind of makeshift volleyball net and set up and play in different areas, so to have kind of a dedicated area to it might be somewhat appreciated.
And it's not high maintenance.
Right, not high maintenance.
I would kind of question if there's relevancy in promoting a league, a summertime league
Sure.
during the week. If that can be held in conjunction with City Park. I guess depends on how big of a reach
Mhm.
you're considering, if it's Harmon, if it's Grainer, if it's, more than one location.
Right.
I wonder if that's not worth looking into as well. Because again, what that'll do is really help push the awareness for it.
Mhm.
And help with weed maintenance during the week too.
Absolutely.
What's your guys' thought? I don't know if that's, if Morton County Parks promotes the league, then of course we need bodies to execute it.
Mhm.
But if that's a possible collaboration,
Will
And-
players want to drive 20 miles down to Grainer Park to play volleyball in a league?
don't know. That's why I say it's, was worth looking into.
A lot of times there's drinking involved, and then you get
No,
driving.
there's not.
Who drinks?
Just thinking.
Because I know Bismarck does this, well, Burley County partners with the city of Bismarck for their management. But again, they also have facilities that are closer to the city of Bismarck too. But like I said, it's just a thought, if we want to have a park system that's going to be useful, engaging.
Mhm. So yeah, if you guys would like me to look into some pricing on nets and stuff like that, like I say, I don't think it'd be a huge cost and might be appreciated.
I see heads bobbing up and down, yes.
And I guess the
Hurt
only
to
other
look
thing I
into it.
got is, take a look at that sheet that I handed out on the collections. I did another, comparison to previous years to this time of year, and looks like we kind of jump around, but, I don't see any huge fluctuations. And then that bottom line is what each park made in the month of August. And probably the usefulness of this is just to make sure that we're keeping attendance and there's something radical going on that we need to address.
Any other questions for Cody?
'23 was still a pretty high year though, wasn't it?
Yeah, you can kind of see, and then 24, we're about $5,000 more from last year at Greener. The same time of year. 2020 obviously was the pandemic, and a lot of people went out and bought campers for something to do.
In 23, you can see the numbers, people bought campers, and then in 24, it kind of phased down a little bit.
So it might be stabilizing now. Post-COVID stabilization.
Okay, if nothing else on park updates, we can go into our public comment period. I do not see any members of the public here for comment, so
Open it and close it.
Nor online.
with that, nor online, with that, we'll close the public comment period. And if anybody else has anything for the good of the order, if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion, a second to adjourn, discussion. Hearing and seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We'll stand adjourned.